for it. So it's 11 o'clock. Welcome everybody to this July QGIS Open Day. It's wonderful to have everybody joining us today. We have a really great sort of selection of talks this month. The first of which, of course, is how to work with QGIS and Blender to make amazing 3D maps. And to give us that talk, we have Hemad, who is joining us from Dar es Salaam in Tanzania. Very excited about this one. I love seeing QGIS and Blender work together. I would like everybody to please interact on the live stream if you can. Otherwise, please join in on the Jitsi meeting, and then we'll just pop over and start with Hamad's talk. So over to you, Hamad. Let us know how to make really awesome 3D maps using QGIS and Blender.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Amy. My name is Hamed, and I am a geospatial enthusiast or map maker in Tanzania, Dar es Salaam. And I'm going to show you how to create those amazing 3D maps using QGIS and Blender. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay, it's right, yeah. So yeah, you can see. So in this tutorial, like I divided it into 5 parts. So the first part is in data collection, in which we are going to see how we are going to collect data. Then we are going to prepare black map and color map in QGIS. Then there will be map creation, the 3D map creation in Blender. Then I'm going to final touches, I think, final touches. And yeah, there will be other using this technique for other visualization. For example, like you want to prepare population map or minimalistic cities, like how are you going to prepare that? So
Hamad, do you mind just hiding the little Jitsi Meet thing at the bottom of the screen? Just click hide and it'll go away. Yeah,
okay,
there we go.
thank
Thanks.
you. Okay, so in data collection, the main thing in Blender, I use DEM, the digital elevation model, in preparing maps like this one, for example, which I'll be demonstrating it to Kat. I'll be demonstrating how to create this one. So usually in data collection, in finding digital elevation model, you consider your area of interest. For example, if you have a small area, you can use SRTM30 or COP30. If you have a large area, maybe SRTM90. So all of these can be found in Open Topography, or you can go to Diva.js. And you can check your country, for example, let's say Tanzania, and you can download it, elevation, then you download it. You download the elevation. So I'll open QGIS. I'll open QGIS to demonstrate how to how to how to I'll open QGIS now. So this is in data collection. Other thing in data collection will be vector files. For example, like you want to visualize lakes, rivers, and ocean. You can go to other other places. For example, Natural Earth. You can download lakes, hydroshade, rivers, and marine nature. Right, and QGIS is open. So after data collection, then we go to the second step, which is creation of black map and color map. So the DEM collected, DEM the DEM digital version downloaded, you you add it in QGIS. Here we go. So after adding it in QGIS, then you okay, you add the lakes and the water bodies. Add layer. Yeah. After adding these ones here, you first create the black map. The black map then is created by going to project, new print layout, right? Tanzania project. Okay. Then you, in page properties, you put it in kind of a box way, 210, 210, height and width, and then you add the map, this one, this digitalization model map. You add it, here. You press this place and you add it this way. Yeah. So after that, it looks small, so you enlarge it by playing with the scale, 6,000. And then the the white background, you remove it. You you add the background by checking the color into black, and then the first black map is then saved in form of PNG. You write it Tanzania back, you export it, and then you export it in high resolution 600 DPI, and that will be our first output. Our second output, now we add the water bodies, which is the ocean, Indian Ocean, and the lakes, the selected lakes. You put it in a blue color way. You style. Okay, go to properties. Then you put it into this blue color, and this one, put it in this blue color. You apply for, then okay. So all the legs are like that. You style, you copy style or style category, style for all the water bodies. Yeah, and then you finalize by putting a color in. You select the topographic color, then add, then continuous into equal interval. Add the classes 5. Put white color. Okay, right. Yeah. So you go again to the print layout. It will change into the color map which you want. The background you remove. You go to page properties. You change the color into white. Yeah, and then you export it into the color folder. Write Tanzania color map. 600. Yeah, so the first procedure is then done. Those two color maps which you have created, these ones, we then overlay them in Blender. We open now Blender to overlay these two. We open Blender. Yeah, so in Blender there is three main items. There is light, there is default cube, there is a camera also. So we delete this default cube, and then we add the plane. We add plane. Okay, it's already added. Then when you have saved the black map and color map, these dimensions 4960 can be used to guide you to to um, to change the scale of how this plane appears. So it was 4960. Over here you can, in scale, you can write it 4.9 and 4.9. There it is. After that, then this plane, you subdivide it. You go from object mode to edit mode, and then you subdivide it. You subdivide it into 100 cuts, like that. Then you return back to object mode. Then you go to modifier properties. You add displace modifier, and then you add new texture. The texture, this one, texture properties. Then you open that black map which you have created. Black map. Tanzania black map. This one you open. Yeah, so at first it appears like this, but don't worry. So you go back to modifier properties, you add subdivision surface. Yeah, after that you put this one above. Yeah, it's now appears at least well. And then in levels, you write the number. Let's say 3. You can write 3 so that you can have clarity on how it appears. Then after that you go to material property. Then you add the color map which in which you go to surface. Then you put it like this one. Then you go to base color, add the image texture. The image texture now which you're going to add is that color map which you have created in QGIS, and this is how it appears at first. It appears like this, but now we just play with the lightning. We play with the lightning on how it will appear. So in over here, then we do final things, which are we go to render properties. We change the render engine into cycle, and then we go to film. We remove the transparency, and then you go to color management. You remove from filmic to standard, appears now nicely. Then we are done for material and texture setting. Now we go to lightning setting. In lightning setting, we go to the light, then we go into object data properties, then we check the sun, but there is point, sun, spot. We just take the sun, and then the strength, we put it 5, and it's too strong, 4. Yeah, and then the angle to have that smooth shadow effect, we go from 11 to 90. Yeah, now it appears well. It appears well now. Yeah. So the the lighting setting is now done. We go to camera setting now. In camera setting now, here is where things get interesting. For this kind of visualization, we put it in a orthographic way, but there is other visualization. For example, mountains. You put it in a kind of like this, but over here we just put it in orthographic way. So we select camera, we go from perspective to orthographic. The camera is this one here, the camera. So we take this camera to here, in which we go to location, we put 0, 0, 0, 0. After that, then we enlarge the camera by putting it a certain number, let's say 17. Enlarge it, it becomes large, like this one. It covers the whole Tanzania. And finally, we go to the sampling in render. Now, because of time, we can't wait for whole 4096. We're gonna reduce it to 100. And after that, the whole thing is prepared. Then you go to render, and then you go to render image. And yeah, we wait for it to fully render. Rendering map.
I always feel like I should have some music that I can play when we're waiting for things to render. I'll do you the great favor of not hearing me sing. So we'll just chill.
So yeah, now it's done. It's done rendering. It's done rendering. So after it's done rendering like this one, then you save it. Save as in desktop over here. Then we save it as Tanzania. Let's say Tanzania render. Render. Okay. Save it as image. So got to come up the Tanzania render. This one. Yeah, this one right here. Then you crop it to for and yeah. So after that we go to QGIS. QGIS layouts. In layouts we 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 are in the final step, which is final touches, in which we put annotation and other stuff. So we remove this one. We add the map, the rendered, because it's a photo. You put raster image. Okay. This one here, Tanzania render. Yeah. It's colors like this one. Then we put other annotation, for example, title. Like Tanzania, and starting, and on top, and certified annotation, Tanzania. Then we put other things, for example, legends. I think we can just remove. We can rename it as water bodies. We can remove this one here. And in Tanzania raster, we can rename it as, let's say, elevation. And place it as legends. And then we write it data sets, in which we write the Viva.js and Viva.js natural F, and marine region. Okay. We put font version, and in legends here we And in item labels, and finally, we so after that, then we export it. Have another project, final, 600. And yeah, here's our final map. Our final map which we have created. And yeah, so the last thing I wanted to say is this in final touches and annotation, you can do it in QGIS print layout, and also you can do it in other software, for example, Inkscape, GIMP, you can, whatever you're comfortable with. And finally, in the fifth part is using this software for other visualization. Also, it's not limited for, this one is not limited to visualize only elevation. You can use it to visualize 3D hexagons, for example, contour dataset visualization. And if you are given digital surface model, for example, digital surface model like this one here, you can use it to visualize it. And also you can use it to generate topo sheets. For example, you're given a topo sheet and then you want to add a 3D, you can use it to generate this kind of 3D using the same technique as I shown below. Yeah, so I think I'll end up here.
This is brilliant. Thank you so much, Hamid. That was absolutely fantastic. First off, I just want to say how wonderfully, logically, and clearly you went through the steps. I followed every single sort of step of that as far as the tutorial goes. That was fantastic. I do have a couple of questions for you, but first I'd like to just check some of the interactions from the live stream in YouTube. We have lots of people tuning in for this. I see Hans van der Kwast says this is fantastic with a little star-eyed face. I see Brian Adams says my stuff. Carlos is saying something in Spanish, I think. My Spanish is not good. I do apologize. Frank says, thank you, very, very interesting. So we have people coming from all over the world, really, really, absolutely loving this tutorial. So I'm going to start us off. I'm sure the people in the room and the people on YouTube have some questions. So my first question is that the values that you used throughout, did you get those values from experimentation with the software, or where did you kind of understand those values to set for the camera or for the lighting, etc.?
Okay, for example, the lightning part, I got it from Daniel Huffman, I think. Daniel Huffman. The way he sets the strength and the angle. Yeah, and other values, for example, other values is from trial and error. For example, removing backgrounds, like for example, in material properties here, like usually people go with standard, but they go with filmic. They go with filmic, but I decided that standard looks much better. All this are in order to get a good visualization. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you. And then the last thing I wanted to say before I open the questions to the rest of the team, there's again a lot of appreciation coming through from the YouTube live stream. was I really appreciated in the tutorial how you went from going from how to get the data all the way through to the output. I think a lot of us forget, there are people who are starting with QGIS and don't know where to find the data. So I loved being able to see exactly where you got your data from. Then all of the steps towards the output, including attribution. That is very important, to please attribute where you get your data from. We work in a free and open source world, and making some attribution like Hemid did at the bottom of the map is vitally important. I know me and Hans van der Kwast have had quite a long conversation about that, and perhaps we'll have a QGIS Open Day session about that. So I just wanted to compliment you on, that really logical workflow, showing where the data come from, and of course, contribute and attributing that. So now I'm going to open to the room. I know maybe Jeremy, Thiasha, I see Bartholomew. You guys are all in the room. Please come on mic, and if you have any questions for him, go for it. Anybody?
I was honestly just sitting there and learn a lot, so I don't really have questions. I'm just all just processing everything. Pretty cool, very, very cool actually. Ideas for stuff later on.
Yeah, I was going to say that was a really awesome session to be able to watch, especially because I've tried doing the exaggerated elevation in Blender before, and I ran into a lot of issues. So it's really nice to go take what I've learned here and go back and see if I can fix it.
Awesome. So there are a couple of comments. I see Frank on YouTube says Blender just confuses me every time I try it. And then Alvaro asks, do you know a quick way to add the render back to QGIS, to a QGIS layer, so not to the layout, without doing georeferencing? It's an interesting question.
QGIS. No, I didn't. You're referencing only occurs in TopoSheet, for what I know. But for this one elevation, for what I've done here, I didn't use your reference. But if I'm not sure, maybe if there is a TIFF, maybe if he gets a TIFF image from the website, then he can put it on. He can put it on the QGIS and begin the other process. But other than that, he should take the topo sheet, he should georeference it, and then use the elevation, then create the final map like this one. Yeah, that's I think, from what I understand his question, that's yeah. Okay.
Awesome stuff. I see Frank is answering that in the live chat. You should be able to get the location if you export the raster as a TFW, and then keep the image dimensions always the same. So Alvaro, basically you're going to have to do some experimentation there. I see Frank and Klaus Carlson are saying that is the correct approach. So definitely do have a look at that. It's really lovely to see everyone really popping up in the chat there and commenting. It's nice to see Klaus there, because Hemid in our chat just before the session was saying that some of his original interest for using QGIS in Blender are, of course, from your original YouTube tutorial that you put out, I think, a year ago or so. So yeah, anybody who's preparing to do this, have a look at that tutorial. And then, of course, follow Hemid's really lovely steps that just work so nicely. So yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to ask, Hemid, while you're still sharing your screen, do you mind showing us another couple of the images you sent me before the beginning of this, of the Mount St. Helens and some of the awesome 3D visualizations? I just think it's worth people seeing what you can really do, including your other images.
Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's okay, let's hold on. I think it's on. I think I put it on Telegram. Okay.
Hmm.
Telegram. I think right here. Yeah, this one. This one right here. I think for St. Helens.
Hmm.
Yeah, this one right here, it's the camera orientation, and the camera orientation. I put it in kind of active to use,
Hmm. Hmm.
and some other visualization I've tried is it's I think the Kosovo one, the Jon Snow one, Jon Snow for DSM, and Saudi Arabia for for the 3D topo. Yeah, I think for Black Mesa, yeah, you can. Most of my renders are in Twitter. I make them. I post it on Twitter. Make them and post them on Twitter. Yeah.
What is your
So
Twitter handle?
725 Hamid. Let me open.
Definitely go head over to Twitter and show Hamid some love on his really amazing graphics.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant stuff. Oh, I'll be following
So
this today.
so yeah, for Tanzania, for East Africa, for yeah, the the you reference the topo sheet and you create 3D for Colombia. Yeah, most of my maps are
That
here.
was cool.
That's
The
really
Most of
topo
my
sheet
cool.
maps,
one.
most of my maps are here.
Brilliant. So
So
we have Rajesh is asking, if you don't mind, and we do have a bit of time, can you please explain your 3D geological maps, how you prepare those? So can you sort of demonstrate how you prepared those sort of 3D with the topo over or like a geological map over it?
okay. So let's say okay, let's okay. In quick summary, like for example, is East Africa vegetation. Okay, so in quick summary, like I take the this map. Originally, it's like this one. So after after that, after I get this one original georeference, maybe soil map or geological map or vegetation map. After that, then in, in quickly I georeference it. So I georeference my East Africa. I georeference, for example, this one is already georeferenced, the points. Yeah, for example, this one I already georeference it according to how it appears. Then after georeferencing it, then I hit I hit run. I hit run, I think. Okay, hold on. Okay. Yeah. After georeferencing it, it occurs like this one right here. Then I prepare the color map and the color map and the okay, like this one. I prepare the black map and the color map as as how I used it. Then after preparing the color map, the black map and the color map, then I just put it on Blender. Then in texture, you select this one right here, go to where you saved it, for example, vegetation black, you open image, and in material, vegetation color, and yeah, it's colors like this one right here. For that it's only a matter of rendering. I think that's yeah, so colors like this one right here.
Brilliant stuff. And I suppose you could do that for any map that you can georeference. I mean, you could have geological areas there. You could have, as you have already, vegetation types. I mean, pretty much anything you could do this, because you basically just taking the black and white map for the 3D and then draping the colors over it as the texture. So yeah, this sort of set of steps, this workflow that you have really is quite powerful, because you can do it for a lot of different effects and a lot of different maps. Awesome. Alrighty. Are there any more questions in the room or on YouTube? I'm giving a minute or so for any last questions. Unless Hamid has any last sort of notes on using QGIS and Blender to make 3D maps, then I'll bring the session to a close. Rajesh says, excellent. Thank you very much. That was very useful.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Alrighty. There don't seem to be any other questions coming through. So that just leaves me to thank you, Hamid, for such a fantastic presentation. I always love seeing, free and open source softwares working together. We often get sort of really tuned into QGIS because QGIS is our baby. But I think, the whole point of the open source world is that it's an ecosystem. So it's really great to see how you can, prepare the data in QGIS, have these really useful outputs, pop over to Blender, make a beautiful 3D map, because that's what Blender's really good at, and then come back to QGIS and in layout do those final touches in an environment that we are all really used to. So I really appreciate how fantastic this workflow is. I'm going to be trying it out. Watch out on Twitter, everyone. I may be putting up a map. And so really thank you very, very much. There are a last couple of comments coming through on the live chat from Alvaro saying thank you very much. Anita Grasa says thank you, Hamid, for a fantastic presentation. I see Raymond Nissen popped into the meeting. Hi, Raymond. Lots of people are really interested in your subject matter and this fantastic workflow. So thank you so much, Hamid. We'd love to have you on the QGIS Open Day again. So please stay in touch and all the best.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Brilliant stuff. All right, thank you to everyone who joined for the session. There is only one more session today, and it is on mapping water. So please make sure that is very much at the end of the day. In my side of the world, it's 4 o'clock. So please make sure to join in for that fantastic session. We're going to definitely have a good look at it. And I really enjoy water quality mapping. It's a very topical sort of green issue, an environmental issue. So I'm really pleased to see how that will come together and how we can use QGIS to help with that issue. So do not miss the next session for today. And thank you to everybody who came to this one. I'll see you in the next session. Bye, everyone. All right, we are off air. Thank you.